Jordan the Monkey King Leavitt. I've never actually known, where did the Monkey King come from?
Initially, it was because me and my friends were watching the movie Forbidden Kingdom in middle school, and just kid sees like, "Oh, that's you" on the screen. So that's how it stuck. And then when people were trying to figure out a fight nickname, I was training with this guy. He did kung fu at my gym, my original gym at Tap Out, and he was talking about like a monkey style thing, and he was saying how the Monkey King's supposed to embody arrogance and playfulness.
Okay.
He's like, when you fight, he's like, you gotta be a little arrogant, but you also can't lose what makes you what makes you playful, what makes you loose, because martial arts is all not just about being hard, it's about being soft and moving a thing sometimes. And I was like, that works. So then the Monkey King stuck. So now I'm trying to still trying to get a hold of the arrogant part. I'm trying to find some more self-confidence, some more pride, and more ego. But I definitely got the playfulness part down. So that's kind of where the nickname came to be.
Is the ego part something you've like struggled with for a while?
I think so. I think just growing up, the background, I was raised in a household of all women, and like women, they kind of shout you down. You don't want to talk. You don't want to like argue with the women in your household. So I feel like I was always very reserved and non-confrontational. So even when I got into fighting and I was doing well, I felt like I should never be braggadocious. My sisters would always humble me. My mom would always humble me. And I feel like to fully believe in yourself, you also have to be able to talk to yourself and like, oh, you're the shit. You're really good. You can do this. And I'm still making strides with that. I'm a lot better than I was a few years ago. I think I can finally now, with a straight face, look in the mirror and say, no, you're actually a good fighter. It's not just luck. It's not just they're making mistakes. You're actually good. And coming to terms with that, and eventually I think I'll be able to think more of myself than I actually am. That's the goal.
It's like kind of getting over the imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 1000%.
How many sisters do you have?
I have 3 sisters.
3 sisters?
Yeah.
And where are you in the order?
Older sister's 5 years. My mom adopted my older cousin who's 2 years older. And then my younger sister's 5 years younger.
Okay.
And they're all angrier than the last. The younger they got, the angrier they got. So my younger sister, she's a spark plug, and we butt heads a lot. But we're better now as adults, I think.
All right. So they seem to have taken all the anger because you don't seem like an angry person.
No, I know. Whenever someone meets my family, it's always a mixed feeling. It's always a mixed reaction. They're like, oh, those are the people that raised you? You're nothing like your family. What happened with you? And I take it the best way. But also, yeah, I think my family, their passion comes out in a very aggressive fashion. And I think I've been a lot more comfortable in what makes me passionate. I've been a lot more grounded. But also, I think I just loud, aggressive, assertive women. I just learned to keep my head down and just chill and roll with the punches. And yeah, it works out.
Do you think maybe fighting is your outlet for that then? Because they get it out that way. And then since you bottle that all up, that you fight to like kind of as an outlet for that?
I definitely think there's some causative factor when it comes to that. I remember I was such a punk when I wrestled. I had the mohawk and I would showboat. I wore a SpongeBob ski mask. And I was just really not myself when I compete. I feel like let my hair down, let me hang loose and go out there and just perform. And there was no consequences. And then I go into fighting, and part of me hates fighting, hates the idea of going into a cage with another person and having to, duke it out. But the other part of me, like, I'm always happy. I'm always proud of it. I'm always excited for the fights. So yeah, I definitely think there's some, self-work I'm working through with that.
Kind of going back to how you said you were raised, just the way you were raised and the way you grew up, you have a really unique heritage. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if I remember right, you're black, white, Jewish, and Mormon.
Yeah.
It's a pretty odd mix.
It is an odd mix, Jewish ethnically, culturally on my grandma's side. So the real side, black, clearly, slave ancestry. My family, I'm descended from Mormon pioneers on one side. So my great-great-grandfather had 12 wives. Oof. And he helped settle Las Vegas and helped settle Mesquite.
Oh. And
his brother had 9 wives and helped settle Alberta, Canada. So there's a lot of Levitts, on this longitude, on this direction. And yeah, so I have a heritage. I'm not sure if I'm proud of that part of my heritage in some respects, but that's where I come from. Slaves, pioneers, people who escaped Europe, from Jewish descent. It's a mixed bag. I'm a mutt.
All right, so I've always had like a little theory about you with like, because that's like kind of the oddest mix of things that I've heard of in a person, I think. And then you have, so it's a unique heritage, and then you have a pretty unique personality and a unique fighting style. And I mean those in good ways. But do you think that's kind of why you developed into like a different, because you had like this different, you're just a different type of person. So then you developed a different personality and a different fighting style. Your heritage isn't quite the same as everyone else, so you developed everything else not quite the same as everyone else.
I think part of that is people putting you to a box, and I feel like a lot of times we try to fit those boxes. So people tell you you're weird, people tell you you're strange, people tell you you're awkward. You're going to act those ways, and you're not going to,
I would agree,
resist those things when like you notice those things about yourself. So I feel like I've always been very comfortable because I've always known I was different. When I was in private school from 5th grade through 8th grade, it was all white private school. And I was always like very clearly the odd one out, a kid with a fade in the school pictures, the only kid that were the dress code for the hair didn't account for me because my hair didn't go down. I've always felt like I stuck out. And I got into fighting, and that theme just kept playing out in my life. I feel like in fighting, it was more of a conscious decision where it was like, these people have been doing this their entire life, and I never thought of myself as particularly like, athletically gifted or explosive or all these things. So I just try to find my niche, try to find the tactics that work for me, especially. But yeah, I think that's definitely a theme. Embracing the weird, embracing the awkward, the unique, and just being at peace with that. And sometimes people think I'm strange or awkward or mentally ill, but I think I'm pretty well adjusted. I think I'm pretty happy.
I'd say you're well adjusted, and I think people thinking those things in this sport is probably a positive.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Gets people more interested.
Agreed. People don't want to know exactly what to expect from somebody. I think it's more compelling.
Yeah. Why did you start fighting?
I always liked the idea of being brave, and I always liked the idea of performing and fighting, but I didn't really know what I wanted. I remember when I was younger, when I thought the WWE was real, I'm like, I want to be a professional wrestler because they're hitting each other with chairs. It's all about expression and performing, and that was very appealing. Then I had my sisters, they tell me how fake it is, then you're embarrassed. And I wanted to be a ninja, and I was like, oh, if I was born in a different time, I could be a warrior, I could be this, I could be that. And then I remember my freshman year of high school, I quit the wrestling team because wrestling's really hard. And the day I quit wrestling, I turned on Spike TV, I'm laying in my bed, and The Ultimate Fighter's on.
Which season?
Season 10, Rampage versus Rashad.
Okay.
And
it's a good season.
It was like the day of the finale, so they played the entire season. And I sat down and watched it for it's either 8 or 10 episodes, and I watched the finale. And I thought the UFC was all reality TV show and then fights. So I was like, oh, this is for me, be on TV, be in the house, and you fight in the cage, that's cool. And I went down the mixed martial arts rabbit hole. And then I remember asking my mom for like a heavy bag for Christmas and free weights. And I just decided to like jump in with both feet. And I think that's probably a little bit of my arrogance that I think I'm now willing to recognize, because I never thought I couldn't do this. I never doubted that I could do this for a living. I never doubted that I would be successful. I just saw on the TV, and I had like that childlike just pride and ego and arrogance and confidence. And I just was convinced. And then I just feel like every action I took in my life, I always thought about like, but how will this affect my fighting? I'm going to go to law school, but can I still go to law school and can I fight? I'm going to marry my wife, but can I marry my wife and fight? Like fighting was where everything was centered around. It was my fixation. And in many ways, I think fighting like saved me from myself. It saved me from falling into a lot of things my friends fell into. And yeah, it's really cool to feel like I have control over my destiny, and that everything I do in this sport, I got to do it. There's not nepotism. My family wasn't pushing it. And in many ways, my friends' family were trying to stop me from doing it. So when I go home to my house, it's not the biggest house, but I bought it. And I have my family that I provide for. And it's just like, perfect path for me.
How old did you say you were when you made that decision or we saw the season and everything?
I was 15.
15? Okay.
I was 15 and I knew, and I'm 30, so exactly half my life I've been a martial artist.
Nice.
And I'm thinking the majority of my life I'm going to be a martial artist.
You were saying that some of your friends and family weren't like super supportive and were kind of against it. Like, did you get a lot of pushback?
Yeah. I think, especially because my family is very hyper educated. We have like several, like 2 doctors, a surgeon, several lawyers. My family's been very high performing. And I feel like because my mom got pregnant like at the end of high school, my mom was very young when she had me. She couldn't go to school. So when they saw me going down this path, like, they're like, you're so smart, you're so this, why are you wasting your time doing this? You could do this, you could do that. And I would always just say, like, I could always go back to school. If I'm so smart, I'm so talented, I'm so this, why do I have to do it at 18, 19, my early 20s? Like, I could figure that out later. And I'll always wish I would have done this. And then I remember thinking I thought I would be getting to the UFC about now in my life. I didn't think it was going to be early, mid-20s. I was convinced that I was going to go to law school, fight through law school, get married, and then I was going to establish my law practice and then fight in the UFC, which would have been a crazy story.
Yeah.
I'm now glad that's not the way I went, because instead what happened was 2020 happened. The world shut down. I was forced to fight to pay the bills. I had no safety net. And then I got into the UFC way before I thought I was going to. And, you know, I accomplished my dreams at 24, and now I'm still living the dream.
Nice. So at what point, or I'm assuming that your family and friends are supportive of it now, like at what point did it shift? Was it like when you made it to the UFC, or was it before that, or did it take even longer than that?
I think after my debut, before I remember.
So not the Contender Series fight, your first actual UFC
They didn't even know
fight.
what Contender Series was.
Yeah.
I remember.
But still, to people who don't know, it's like, oh, it's the UFC. Like, 'cause it's attached to the UFC. Like, they think that's a huge thing.
They're like, oh, this, my grandfather still said, are you still doing that fighting thing? And my UFC career is older than my oldest child. You know, like, I've been doing this fighting thing my entire adult life, but he still was like, you still doing that fighting thing? I'm like, yes, this pays my bills. He still asked me, like, what are you doing for work, though? I'm like, this is my work. And I remember about a month before Contender Series, I was talking to my uncle, who was a martial artist when he was younger, and he was like, it's really good you're probably not a professional. He's like, I don't think you just have that killer instinct. I don't think it's like, you're not that type of talent. He's like, you're talented, but you're not that type of talent. And at the time, I'm like 5-0 as a pro. I remember like just hurting so much. And then a month later, I like get my contract with Contender Series. And then 2 months after that, I slam a guy in like 20 seconds and get the bonus. I went from food stamps to lower middle class in an afternoon. I remember winning my debut and it being like 2 p.m. because it happened in the afternoon. And everyone's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I got to go grocery shopping. I still had to do everyday normal things. It was just like a shock.
Yeah.
And so now my family thinks it's cool. They post about it. And I forgive them because they wanted me to do other things because they care about me. They want me just to have the safest, most reliable.
To be fair, fighting is not a smart life decision.
It is not.
It's not a good career path.
No. It brings me the most happiness of anything I think I could have chosen. But I would never let my children do it. You know, I would just be like, just like my family, if they try to pick the same path, I think I would give some resistance. I think that resistance is very important because when I chose to do it, I knew it's because I wanted to do it. So at least I know for myself that it's my decision, my mistake, all on my own.
Yeah, it's all on you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever fought outside of training or competition? Like, have you ever had a street fight or any?
No, I'm very blessed because it wasn't for being unwilling. I had really good friends that would always try to stop me from fighting people. And I'm really glad they did.
So you actively tried to fight people?
Yeah. I had a really bad temper. Not bad, but like if people would challenge me, I would always run up to them and my friends would always de-escalate things. I remember my junior year of high school. It sounds so stupid now. But one of my friends, he like went to smack her butt, and I like kind of like grabbed his hand. I'm like, oh, you don't need to do that, man. And then the next day, he like put his hand on my shoulder. It was in front of my friends, which is the dumbest thing because like I had the group behind me. But he's like, I heard you don't. He's like, you don't like me. We can handle this. And I told him. I looked at him and I said, you better jump my ass. You better jump me because there ain't nothing you could do to me by yourself. And I told him I'm gonna be on the corner, be on this corner right here next to the school. I went there, and him and 4 of his friends came, and they just saw me just stand there by myself. I remember them kind of like strutting. It's like, you ain't even worth it. And they like walk away. But I count that as a win. I scared off 5 of them. But that's the closest I got because my friends weren't there to stop it. But I had several times where a guy would say something, I'd get in their face, and my friends would be like, he doesn't mean that. This is important. So my friends were good kids. And they're still good. They're good, law-abiding, normal people. And they were there to kind of direct my energies in a more positive way.
So you said that you like always believed that you could make it as a fighter and make a career out of it.
Yeah.
And was there ever any doubts at any point along the way?
I always thought my worst fear was just that I would get married or I'd get someone pregnant and I would have to choose taking care of my loved ones over fighting. I never thought that I wouldn't make it unless I chose not to make it. I never wanted to be, not that it's bad, but I never wanted to be that person who was trying to fight and they have to bring their kids to the gym all the time. Their kids are just there for several hours. I never wanted my dream to take anyone else's time, anyone else's effort. I never wanted my dream to ever crush my family's. And so I never had any doubts, but I knew like I would give it up if I had to. I love what I do, but if my wife asked me to quit fighting, and if it was important, like if she's like, I need to quit fighting because of this, and that, I would do it. If my kids needed me at home, I wouldn't bat an eye. I would drop it instantly.
At this point, I would imagine it's a little bit easier because you've done it.
Now I've done it. There's
if you hadn't done it yet, I think it would be tougher because you always have that question of like, oh, could I have done it?
Yeah.
Like,
and there would have been a lot of resentment.
Yeah, for sure.
But I saw my mom. She had me at 19. She adopted my older sister a week after I was born, so she was 5. My mom was 19, single, with newborn and a 5-year-old. So I watched my mom sacrifice so much. And I was like, that's just what you do. If you have family, you have kids, you got to sacrifice. So I had to make sure, I'm like, okay, I got to get this done before I have a family because I'm going to be all in on my family no matter what. And I just remember when me and my wife were discussing having a kid, she's like, I think we should start trying. And I'm like, we're like 23. The world is shut down. Like, we can't even work. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. And she was like, well, I'm pretty sure we'll be provided for. Like, it's like we prayed about it. This is what we should do. And just taking that leap of faith, I was like, okay. But I think the reason I fought so much in 2020 is because I'm like, I had a kid on the way. We had prayed about it. And I was like, well, I can't make Jordan a fool from a few months ago. He prayed about it. He said this is the right decision. I got to make this the right decision. And it all worked out. My daughter was born a month after my debut. And everything, I just feel like my life couldn't have been plotted better if it was a book so far.
Nice. Okay. Like before a fight, like the day of the fight and stuff, like what are you feeling? Like what's going through your mind? What are you thinking?
It's kind of like worst case scenario. I'm always thinking on fight day, I'm either going to win, it's going to be a positive memory, or I'm going to get knocked out and it's going to be a blank slate.
Just all or nothing?
It's all or nothing. So for me on fight day, I'm always trying to make sure that everything I do is like, if this is my only memory when I wake up, if I get knocked out, I wake up, would this be a good memory? I'm always trying to focus on like just being present on fight day.
That's an interesting take on it, the memory thing.
Yeah, it's only positive or nothing.
Yeah.
So like I shouldn't be nervous because if I lose, but I don't get hurt, that's always the best case scenario. It's like, oh, I lost, but I'm alive. I can learn from it. I've always had the fear of just like not having a memory. So I always used to tell myself like, well, it's either good or nothing. And if that's the odds, like if we were gambling, I said, you can only ever win. You can't lose. Either you win or nothing happens. We'd always take that. So for me, a fight is just like, I may as well just enjoy myself. Because worst case scenario, I'm just gonna be like, what happened? Are you sure I got knocked out? I'm always in the corner, people get knocked out, and they're just like, I have a fight tonight. I know you already fought. So one life, roll the dice. On fight night, it's just be present and just do the right things. I don't think of highlights. I don't think of being cool. I don't think of losing. I just think of, in that moment, just trying to do the right thing and just being open to serendipity. Like if I feel like I have to do some weird motion, I just kind of do it. There's no inhibitions. I try to like live no inhibitions on fight day.
Do you get nervous?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Is that like has it always been that way, or is that something that developed over time?
No. I think you get like slightly more, I feel like it gets more regular, but I remember before my first fight, I was talking to my coach and he was like, you cool? And I was like, yeah, just shaking out. I'm like stretching, do my prayer. He's like, you ever done this before? I was like, oh no, I never even punched someone in the face before. We're gonna see. And I remember just going out there and then getting in between rounds after the first round and just telling my coach, like, I really like this. Like, this is a lot of fun. Like, this is a dream come true. He's like, shut up, kid. Like, we're still in the fight. But no, I just feel like fighting's not as dangerous as a lot of people think. Like, I'm more likely to get hurt on the drive to the fight. My life's probably not going to end. I used to have this fear of like breaking my neck, like slamming a gun and taking out and snapping my neck. But no, it's just the fight's the reward. It's the playtime. It's where highlights are made. It's where memories. I look back on the fights all the time. But yeah, I think I'd perform better if I was nervous. I think I perform better with more at stake.
Get that edge.
Yeah, but it just seemed like such a natural thing for me.
I agree with you that like generally, like my mindset going in is, and like I've told people like when they're in their like early fights or when they're nervous and stuff, just like don't worry about it. Like afterwards, like you'll be fine. You'll just want to get back in there and go again, because like after the fight, you're always fine. Like you might be hurt, you might be whatever, but you're always fine. But then every now and then I see a fight where someone is not fine.
Yes.
Like it is like a possibility. Like you're always going to be fine, except for occasionally some people aren't fine. Like,
yeah. I remember asking my coach, John Wood, my only insecurity was, will I feel pain in the cage? And he told me, you won't feel anything, which is not true. You will definitely feel something.
Some things.
But it's only if it's really bad do you feel something.
What do you think is the most painful part about fighting?
Most painful part for me, I think it's body shots. Body shots always hurt. But also, I feel like every little thing, you're way more conscious of it. Like, the cage hurts so much more on fight day. The cage feels like my skin's getting ripped off. I remember, like, the UFC mat is so coarse. I remember shooting a takedown and my knee sticking and being like, wanting to scream, like, I just lost a skin. And then my finger getting caught in the cage, or they're pushing you and you bounce up. The cage is so uncomfortable and painful. And then when training, you never feel anything with the cage. But in the fight, you're like, not wearing clothes. I think maybe the cage is like a better material. The cage hurts a lot.
I'm glad you said that, because that's usually what I tell people is like the most painful part of fighting is the cage. Like,
no, and you wouldn't think that.
Yeah, just like, you have like a body lock on someone and your hands get stuck in between them and the cage. Like, so painful.
My most painful, I remember my second fight, I shot a takedown and he sidestepped and my face hit the fence. I was so embarrassed, but also I was like, that hurt way worse than him punching me in the head just now. Like,
oh, yeah.
He punched my head, hit my face on the fence. Way worse than anything else that happened in the fight, because like that stings.
Yeah.
The stinging things still hurt. Like, I love when the commentators like hear like a leg kick that just kind of slaps.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't do any damage. I feel that way worse.
Do you?
Than when it thumps into my thigh.
Really, I agree with them on that most of the time. I feel like the thuds like just dig in deeper, typically.
Oh, I hate like surface level pain.
Yeah.
Like getting slapped hurts. But maybe that's just like I'm used to that type of pain. I just feel like the cage sucks, body shots suck.
Yeah.
when you get a hard shot to the head, doesn't really hurt. It's scary because you're like, okay, I was standing up and now I'm right here. Like, what happened? Or like you feel that, like, I feel like our nerves get the better of ourselves when we get hit in the head, but everything else hurts way worse.
Yeah. I've always thought a better word for like getting hit in the face is just uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much painful, just discomfort.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Our bodies are just telling us, like, yeah, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember I've only been like hurt like by a strike to the head in one fight where like I got kneed in the face by Taddy, and I remember just thinking like, what do you hit me with? But like it wasn't like scary. I was just like, how do you elbow me so hard? That wasn't an elbow. He kneed me. But that was my worst fear for all fighting. It's just like, do I want to feel pain? That I get hit hard to the head. I'm like, oh, that wasn't nearly as scary. You know, you think that we're always afraid that we're not going to react right in a fight. But if you train and you react right and train, you will react the right way in a fight. And that was one thing I definitely had to learn for myself.
What do you think about, or what are you trying to think about during a fight? And are you usually successful, or do you have to like fight off other thoughts and feelings or anything?
I'm always just trying to like just do the right thing, focus on the right moment, win the next few seconds. I feel like in fighting, like everything moves in many ways so much faster, but also so much slower. Like that first initial connection is so fast. Like you touch gloves, everything goes so fast until you get hit the first time where you touch them, you hear them breathe for a second, and then everything slows down again. I could hear the commentators on the ring side. I could hear my coaches. I could hear my coaches arguing with each other. I feel like everything slows down in the fight. So I'm always just think like, this is moving so slow. I just gotta win the next few seconds. I just gotta do the right thing. And 15 minutes of sparring, it ends so fast. But 15 minutes of a fight, it feels like it goes on forever. Like you'll be out of breath because of the adrenaline. You look up at the clock and it's like, oh, that was 40 seconds. Like you think you've won the round, but it's 40 seconds. So I always try to tell myself, just win the next few seconds. Like when your opponent succeeds, you try to have a short memory. Like, okay, that doesn't matter. Just win the next few seconds. And if you just keep winning more and more seconds, as opposed to just trying to stop your opponent from winning a second, I feel like it's a lot more easy to be proactive as opposed to just going out there and being like, I'm going to stop him from doing this. It's no, I'm just going to score my points. Like in basketball, we get to our positions on the court, the positions you like, and you try to score from those positions. And in fighting, I just try to get to my positions and just do the right thing, and the win should take care of itself.
Just break it into smaller pieces.
Yeah.
Focus on like what's directly in front of you instead of the big picture.
Like I'm always talking to my training partners for my fights, and they're like, what if he does this? What if he does that? And I was like, well, that doesn't happen to me, like ever. So I'm not going to focus on that because like I'm never in those positions. It's because I'm focusing on what I'm going to do. I can focus on what he's going to do, and that could like that could pigeonhole me to actually do what he wants me to do because you're focusing on their game. So just go out there and play your game because they're going to try to play their game regardless of what you do. And so you may as well just try to do what you want to do.
How much of a fight do you think is thinking versus reacting?
I think the preparation is all thought, but I think the fight is almost all reacting. I feel like it's more important to think about the fight intelligently and with confidence beforehand than it is to like, oh, when I fight, I'm going to think through the situations, because you're not going to think through the situations. There's all the adrenaline. There's thousands of people screaming. There's all the alcohol in the air. There's all this energy. Like the arena energy is just so intoxicating. And it can be in a good or a bad way, but there's just so much power in the crowd, I feel. And so I feel like think before the fight, but during the fight, it's going to be all reactions. Like I can't remember lots of the moments of my fights now. I have to watch my fights and be like, oh yeah, and this is what I was feeling right then. But for the most part, it's all just muscle memory. It's all just the things you drill, the things you don't think about anymore. And if you have to think, it's because there's some major adjustment or something's very glaringly obvious. But yeah, fight camp's all thought. Fight night's all body and spirit.
Do emotions have a place in fighting?
I think so.
What place is that?
I think if you're choosing to feel that emotion, it's a good thing. If your opponent's choosing your emotions for you, it's a bad thing. If I'm choosing to get angry and bite down on my mouthpiece to go forward, that's good. But if it's because he's pissing me off, that's bad. So I feel like, you know, you should be feeling something when you fight. Like when I'm afraid of a position, like I shouldn't be like, oh, I should just be confident. I should relax. No, I'm afraid of this position for a reason. Now I got to react accordingly. And I feel like, you know, especially like on fight night, supposed to train, I feel like emotions in training is always kind of worse. Like you kind of just want to turn your brain off and do the right things in training. But on fight night, sometimes you need emotion. Sometimes the right response is to just like man up a little bit or to yield a little bit, or I'm so tired, let me be scared for a little bit. Because we're all feeling the same things. It's just some people have a better poker face, some people are coping with it better. So I think the emotions, just strong emotions, force you to just go back to your training, go back to your drills.
So how do you control your emotions and like not let your opponent or the environment dictate your emotions, and you dictate your emotions, control them?
I kind of like see it at like, not like, I think alter ego is not the right way of doing it, but it's like I put on a different mantle when I fight. And it's like, okay, I'm not Jordan Leavitt, I'm the Monkey King. It's like, I'm not the me I was before in the cage. Like I can be playful right before, but when I'm in here, it's like I'm allowed to feel the emotions as long as they're good, as long as they're beneficial. And I go out into the fight and I just try to. What was the question?
How do you control your emotions?
How do I control? Like,
and not let them be dictated by other outside forces.
Yeah, I just go back to doing the right thing. And just going out there and letting the Monkey King do what the Monkey King does and not focusing on all these outside things before the fight. I feel like a lot of times we make a fight bigger than it actually is.
I agree with that.
Because like, yeah, there's a paycheck and there's this and there's interviews and there's media and rankings, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just a fist fight. None of that stuff should matter while your opponent's right in front of you. But we're always distracted by the flash. So I feel like if you go into the fight just expecting a fist fight, like, it doesn't matter if my opponent's a good person, if I like them, if they're a good dad, if my manager pissed me off before the fight, it doesn't matter. If your girlfriend, your wife's angry at you, it's just 15 minutes, turn your brain off, give into your primal urge to like fight for hierarchies, whatever you want to say. And I think the emotions will take a backseat.
Okay. What's the hardest part of fighting for you?
The hardest part of fighting for me is doing things that I hate but I know are necessary. Like, no one I don't like strength and conditioning. I feel like a lot of people like have to convince themselves that, oh, I love being tired. I hate being tired. I hate being sweaty. I hate getting hurt. I hate drilling certain techniques that I find boring. Martial arts, when you first start, is so fun because you're learning so many things. And everything you learn as a martial artist when you first start is beneficial. But as you become, like when you become a professional athlete and reality sets in, you're like, okay, what am I actually going to do? I can't be Kobe, LeBron, and Stephen Curry. Like I gotta play one archetype in fighting. So just kind of coming to terms with the fact that being a martial artist and being a professional combat athlete are slightly different attitudes and different mantles and different hats to wear. So that's the hardest part is just going into this thing that I love, that I've always been passionate about, and reducing it to, but what am I actually going to do on fight night? And ignoring everything else, that's kind of hard for me. I got like that attention deficit disorder. I just want to go on there and learn a new thing every day. But in reality, fighting at the highest level is, okay, what are you really good at? Let's make it better. What are you really bad at? Let's make it slightly less sucky. And that's boring, but that's, what has the best results.
Why do you enjoy fighting?
I like the problem solving.
Yeah?
Yeah. I really like the problem solving. I also just like not to be too woo-woo about it, like the energy exchange. I feel like there's just like a certain, not quite a bond, because sometimes we hate the people we fight, we don't like them, but there's like a certain like intimacy, a certain closeness.
I think even if you don't like the person, you still get some sort of a bond from that. anytime you go through like adversity and suffering with someone else, you get a little bit of a bond.
Yeah, and that's such a unique like energy exchange.
Yeah.
I remember one thing I really loved about wrestling was like that first initial contact and just feeling someone get fatigued and how empowering that is that I caused that. When I go into a fight and I hit someone with a beautiful body shot and I just see like a slight change in their demeanor, it's just an empowering thing to feel like what you do has consequences. And I feel like in a lot of things in real life and a lot of things in sports, like we do these little things and the consequences aren't so apparent. They're not so noticed. But in fighting, I kick your leg, I see a little swelling, I see a little red, I see you, I hear the breath, I feel the exchange. Like I love that. I love the feeling of like just things being consequential, things being important, things mattering. I feel like there's a lot of things we do in life we think matter, but really don't. But in fighting, everything in that cage between you two matters. And then after that fight, you like kind of know that person on like a different level that someone else doesn't really understand. Like I can spar you, but if I fight you, it's different.
Yeah.
I can be your friend if you, but if I fight you, it's different. And it's so cool. Almost everyone I fought, like afterwards, it's like, dude, like, do you like them less? Do you like them more? No, but like I know them more. And there's something really unique and cool about that I just never got from anything else.
Was there other things that you kind of like tried to get that out of before you like found fighting? Like obviously wrestling a little bit, but was there other like non-combat sport things that you were trying to get that fix and then just couldn't?
I think being like an awkward, strange, weird guy, I always feel like things I was doing to like socialize with people, connect with people, we always have like our inner audience where we think, oh, that was the wrong thing to say, that could have been better. But I just feel like before I was comfortable with who I saw in the mirror, I was always trying to reach out to people and build connection. And then feeling embarrassed, feeling insecure, and being disappointed in myself for things not working out the way I thought, saying something nice to somebody, and me being like, oh, this is such an important thing. I feel like they need to hear that. And then people, oh, yeah, kind of just blowing it off. I just feel like navigating social interaction, just navigating the human, tribal, person-to-person experience, which is so just like anxiety inducing. And then I got into fighting, just like the nonverbal energy exchange, the building of connections without having to voice the things or explain them was just way more comfortable for me. Like fighting helped me get better at expressing myself because it's like, okay, I can say this one thing and maybe it is taken the wrong way or I say it in a way that's not perfect, but it doesn't really matter because it's just an interaction, just a social interaction. But in fighting, it's like, oh, there's consequences for the wrong decision, and there's positive and there's good things that happen for the right decisions, and everything else just seems so much simpler, so much easier, so much less drastic. When I would do something awkward and bomb a conversation, like a joke wouldn't land well, or someone would like give me a weird look at their phone, like, you see this guy? It just didn't seem so important because I wasn't getting punched in the face. And I was like, oh, it's just words anyway. It's not like I'm really engaging with that person. But in fighting, it's like you're engaging with a person on a physical level. Just that feeling, it's like, oh, we're playing, killing each other. And it's kind of cool that we could just do that. And yeah, I was looking for that my entire life. I didn't know what I was looking for until I got into fighting. And I was like, no, this is it. Just struggling with somebody, just being engaged in a struggle is so cool. And fighting, I get to struggle against people every day, and it's empowering.
So you're more comfortable fighting people than socializing with people?
Yes. 1000%. Socializing, can't control what people do in their head in a social context, but in a fight, I can control what you do.
Yeah.
That makes you sound pretty controlling.
Hopefully. If you're good at it, you can control it.
If you're good, you can control things. But yeah, just fighting's so simple. And it's so simple, and there's consequences and everything else in life. You can reduce it down to being simple, but also it's just the consequences that you're afraid of probably aren't going to be there in other avenues of life. But in fighting, it's just Everything after fighting is just easy. School was easier. Relationships were easier. Every other hobby I did was easier to just focus on because it's like, oh, dude, like there's actual consequences of what I do for my job. Like life-changing trauma, pain, this, and that. Everything else in life is easy. Like I could totally just go to a regular job for just 9 to 5 and do it and just turn my brain off. But instead I have this thing, this job, this career path where I go in there and I'm just in a struggle all the time. It's just amazing. It's just different.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think one of the best things about fighting is that it does make like the perspective of like after doing it, like other things don't seem as hard.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of interesting.
It's like, oh, aren't you worried about like going back to school? I'm like, not really, because it's just school. I already did school and fighting.
Yeah.
You're telling me like I could just be a student? Like that seems so simple. That's just one thing.
No one's trying to knock me out. No one's trying to cut off the blood flow to my brain. Like
yeah. And it's just
no
like
big deal.
Everything, like the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And I like learned that from fighting. It's like, okay, like I focus so much on fighting. I try to be the best I can be in this sport. And when I'm done fighting, that passion is going to go to something else. And I'm going to try to do my best to be the best I can in whatever other aspect or area in life I'm going to be drawn to. So it's like, I don't want fighting to end anytime soon, but also I'm so excited to see what type of man I'm going to be after fighting, because fighting is not even going to be half my life probably. And that's insane.
Small career window.
Yeah, that's insane because it's so central to my life now, but I know 10, 15, 20 plus years, I'll have to tell people, oh yeah, I used to fight. It'll just be like a little trivia thing about me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool.
Yeah. What are some lessons you wish you would learn sooner?
One lesson that I think I've moved past. I used to always moralize fighting. Like,
what do you mean by that?
I should win this fight because it's the right thing for me to win this fight.
Okay. That's interesting.
Like, I would always obsess. I'd always like look up my opponent's entire life. I'd look up where they came from, their hometown, how many kids they have. And I was always like humanizing my opponent. I wanted to know so much about them because I felt like I owed it to myself. I'm going to fight this person. I should know about them. I should be aware of the consequences of this fight possibly. And the problem is, I would go into a fight and I would lose sometimes. And part of me would be happy that I lost because I'm like, oh, I know so much about this person. At least I lost to such a good guy. At least this guy beat me up in front of my family and took half my paycheck. I just wish I would have known that fighting's not a moral thing. I don't win because just God chose me and I'm the best person that should win that fight. I won because I did the right things. And I lost because I did the wrong things. And just not making it some moral issue, like not thinking you're being punished by some cosmic force because you lost, not thinking that you're just giving things you don't deserve because it's just some part of some plan. It's just recognizing that it's just a fist fight. You're trying to beat up the other person, trying to control the other person, and they're trying to do the same thing. It's not personal. It doesn't matter if you like them or you hate them before the fight. It's just a fight. And I feel like I was always, before the fight, I would struggle with like, oh, this person's cool. They have 2 young children and they got married a few years ago. Like, oh, I hope their wife isn't inside the crowd. I hope like I don't injure this person. Like I was always focusing on the consequences before the fight. Then during the fight, I wouldn't think about those things, but it would make camp so stressful. But now it's just like, I watch your fights. Nothing else matters. I can learn about your life. If you want to talk to me at the bar after the fight, you want to chit chat a little bit in our hospital beds, like sure. But until the fight, you're not a person. You're just data on the screen, and then I'm going to meet you, we're going to fight, and then we'll decide all the other human stuff afterwards. So that's probably the biggest lesson I learned is like, sports, it's not a moral thing, it's just a competence and skill thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting take that you had. Can't say I ever had that. The closest thing I think would be like, I never missed weight, but I always felt like if I had, I would have trouble winning because I'd be like, oh, I didn't make weight, so I don't even deserve to win. Like he should win. Like,
yeah, it's like the fairness aspect.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I wronged you and I beat you up.
yeah,
Like that was like it's like oh, like that's why I think I got so angry at like people who like drug cheats or this and that. I'm like, how dare you do these things I think are morally wrong before you fist fight me and try to separate me from my conscience? Like I can't get over that. But it's just a sport.
Yeah.
And there are good people and there are bad people. And that doesn't matter for those 15 or 25 minutes. So
what are your emotions and mindset like after a loss? Like what does it feel like? What do you think?
Usually, so before I got to, I was undefeated until I got to the UFC.
Mhm.
And I was always so anxious because when you're undefeated, people talk to you like you're going to be undefeated forever. Like, dude, what if you just keep winning like the next, what if you're undefeated? What if this, wouldn't that be amazing? But it puts all this pressure on. And I just remember being like 8-0 or 9-0. And I lost my first fight. And I remember just being like so happy. I called my wife, and the first thing she says is, "Do you feel better now?" And I was like, "I really do," because there was always just so much pressure to perform. And then you're always wondering to yourself, like, will people treat me different if I lose? Well, I go to the gym and people are like, "Oh, that's Jordan. He got choked out like a chump. He's not really good. The person we see every day, we don't care about that anymore. Your family doesn't care. My mom has come up to me and say, I told you fighting was stupid." Like, you're always catastrophizing these things. And then when it happened, and just realizing that you just lost a fist fight. If you're not going to win the love of your friends and family for winning the fight, you're not going to lose it for losing the fight.
Yeah.
So my first loss was actually very freeing. Every loss after that has made me angrier because now it's like, I could have done something better. I could have done this. My first loss felt good. My last loss was the one I took the hardest. Yeah, just like every time you look at your record, it's like, I win this percentage of the time. It gets worse and worse. My KD ratio gets worse.
Yeah.
Just try not to equate your self-worth with your win-loss ratio, because there's so much more information between those numbers. Because I have wins in my mind, I don't even count them. Because there was no struggle. It was like, I feel like in my head I was supposed to win. And there are losses where I'm like, oh, well, there's a lot of other things happening. It's easy to discount it. There's so much more story besides the number. And I just try to focus on the story, on the journey up into those losses. And just try to get more data, more information, make better decisions. But every one of my losses, I always came back better afterwards. It's made me a better person. And also, it's made me a better training partner, a better coach, because now it's not like, well, I've never lost, so I don't know how you're feeling. It's like, no, dude, you're gonna want to do some heavy drinking. You're gonna be very depressed. You want to throw your phone across the room. You're gonna be so depressed with how few people message you after a loss compared to after you win. You're gonna think no one loves you. But that's not really how it is. They just don't know what to say to you. So just being able to understand that context is good. They suck. They're necessary. But I just know after I'm done fighting, I'm not going to focus on the losses I have. You'll be focused on the high moments. Even the losses, they're kind of funny now. It's like, oh, dude, remember when I just dropped for a leg lock and then got my back taken? That's day one stuff you're not supposed to do, and I did it. That's ridiculous. At the time, I was super angry. I was crying. But now I look back on it, it's just character development.
It's a good mindset. What's the most serious injury you've had from fighting?
From fighting?
Or training?
Training, I blew out my knee, hitting the heavy bag. And
when did you do that? I don't remember that.
So I think it was 2015.
Oh, okay, a long time.
And it was actually...
Were you at Syndicate at that point?
I was at Syndicate.
Okay.
I blame Khalil. All
Okay.
right. So Khalil was doing a spinning hook kick on the 200-pound bag, the soft bag.
Yeah.
And he was like, you should try this. And I'm like, isn't that dangerous? And I knew in my head it was dangerous because I'm not built like Khalil. I'm just a little tiny guy. And he's like, no, it should be fine. It's a soft bag. And literally the first one I threw, I heard the snapple pop. My leg buckled.
Was your plant leg?
It was the one leg I kicked with.
Oh, really?
I hit it. It popped. And I remember my Muay Thai coach Chaz being like, "You good?" And I was like, "I just blew out my knee." He's like, "No, you did it." And then I started laughing. I'm like, "No, like," I'm like, "I think I just ended my dreams. I think I just blew out my knee, like straight up." And yeah, got it checked, blew out my knee.
What was it all? Was it ACL? ACL?
Ended up just being partial ACL.
Okay.
So they just trimmed it. They didn't replace it. And then meniscus, I remember they thought it was complete ACL. And then they opened me up and they saw that I actually had some blood flow. So they just trimmed things up, cauterized some things. I remember waking up and looking at my knee and realizing I wasn't a splint and just talking to myself and asking the doctor, like, "You didn't replace my ACL?" He's like, "Oh, no, I think it was fine." I remember just like crying, like, "It's a miracle. My dreams aren't over." I go back to training like in a month and a half. I was so blessed, so happy. That's my worst injury from training. My worst injury from a fight. Yeah, I've never been hurt from a fight. I think, honestly,
Nice.
mat burn. When I lost to Claudio Puelles, I lost like 2 of my toenails on the mat, and my knees were bleeding. That was the most excruciating. I remember teaching at church the next day. I was like teaching like the 12-year-olds, the 17-year-olds, and just limping. And I remember like putting like things underneath my slacks so that way my pants wouldn't touch the scabs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was the most pain I've ever had from a fight.
Huh. Oh, that's crazy. It wasn't your plant leg when you threw it. Like, do you think it was already hurt and then that just like put it over the edge? Like, I have a hard time believing unless you landed like really awkwardly.
No, I think it had to have been just like my body was just like I had an injury but never recognized it. But then like that just like the pop.
Yeah.
And yeah, so stupid injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I train particularly. I'm always safe when I train because I'm like, the dumbest thing could injure me. I did everything right on the soft bag, not even 100%, and I got injured. So now it's like, people are like, "Let's do this move." And it's like, anything contortionist like, "Nah, I'm good. That doesn't look natural. I'm not going to do it."
It's a good mindset. Are you worried about head trauma?
Yeah, like objectively I am. But I've taken so little damage so far, like in my fight career, and I know things could change. Like I could slow down, I could fight a lot better people, I could take a lot more damage.
But still, you've taken immensely
training.
more head trauma than if you wouldn't fight at all.
Exactly. And then I just think of, yeah, there are outlets. I see people who are like, "Oh, they're totally fine." There are people that get better after their career. There are people that get worse after their career. But then I always think of just the average person on the street and how little they use their brain. And I'm like, would my life be worth living if I was even that dumb? And I'm like, yeah, their life's worth living. I think I'm slightly above average intelligence. Not saying I'm a genius, but I think I'm slightly above average intelligence. So if worse, like in my head, it's just like dumb people can live a perfectly normal life. So as long as I'm not like handicapped in my mobility, my motion, physically, and as long as I'm smart, I'm eating healthy, I feel like there's not too much of a risk. I feel like because of my support system, I feel like they would tell me if I'm showing signs. I feel like because I'm so self-conscious about my brain and my intellect, I feel like the moment I think I'm sounding stupid, I think I'm done. I'm not going to be one of those fighters who starts slurring and then has a few more fights because of the money, because I just never want to be dumb. I had a speech impediment growing up. If I ever can't be understood with my speech, I'm out. I want to be able to talk to my children. I want to be able to talk to my children. I want my children to. I just never want my children to be thinking, "Don't listen to my dad. He's not all there." As long as I'm never that damaged, I think it'll be worth it. Hopefully.
Okay. All right. So like fighting's like it's a pretty fragile thing, really. Like at any moment you could have an injury, like training or car accident, whatever randomly step off a curb wrong and have to blow out your knee or something, and it just your career's over. Like, do you have a backup plan?
I don't have anything to fall back on. I remember not to be too motivational speakery, but like I'd rather fall forward than fall back. I'd rather fall on my face trying to catch myself than have things to fall back on. I feel like just trusting and believing and having like faith in my abilities will make me be the best fighter, the best martial artist I can be. And if I do fail, at least I'll know I failed putting everything into it. And like part of that is scary, but also there are people who start over their lives every day. Their lives get destroyed and they come back and their lives are normal. And I'm already in a better position than most people, especially in this country in this time of life. Like there's so many crazy things going on. It's like worst case scenario, I can't fight anymore. I have to find the trade. I have to make money. Making money is easy. It just takes time and effort. Getting knowledge is easy. It just takes time and effort. And I know how to invest time. I know how to put in effort. And I'll figure it out.
So you have kind of like a burn the boats mentality of like, if there's a plan B, then I'm not going to put everything into plan A, and therefore I won't get as far with plan A. So you just don't have the plan B.
1,000%. Like when I was in high school, you know, when you're getting closer to prom or something, you're like, okay, I could ask these 3 different people. I'm not too nervous if one of them says no. But if you only have your eyes set for one person, it's like, oh, this is important.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure this girl really likes me before I ask her. I feel like in fighting in life, it's the same thing. Like, yes, I know objectively there's other options, but right now, from my perspective on this storyline, I gotta be 100% into my martial arts. And I was doing well before I was even 100%, but I feel like now that I'm 100% focused, putting everything towards this one goal, no matter what, it's got to pay dividends. And if not, you know, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. It's just the odds, but I like the odd. I'll take the gamble on myself.
All right, I respect it. Do you know when you want to retire? Like, do you have a plan, like a set thing, or is it kind of like a play it by ear, see how it goes?
It's mostly a play it by ear, but my goal is just basically, I always joke, as long as I could pay my bills on disability and be in a welfare king, like worst case scenario, I get disabled, will my family be homeless? So I just gotta pay off the house. If I can pay off the house, then it will be literally be a fight by fight basis. Sometimes I feel like a lot of fighters are trying to raise their ceiling, but the floor is also pretty scary. But for me, I'd rather just raise the floor. If after fighting, the worst case scenario is I'm stuck in Pahrump, Nevada, in my house that's paid off, maybe not the biggest house, maybe not this. As long as the worst case scenario is avoided, then I could retire. But as soon as I pay off the house, then I'm going to take it fight by fight. I'm going to be focusing not on my future. My future will be secure. It'll be my children's future. And whatever I have to do that makes it, that is the best decision for my family, that's what I'm going to do. And eventually that's going to be not fighting anymore. And I think I'm 30. I have 5 really good years. And then I have maybe, if I'm lucky, 2 to 3 years. And then any years after that, if the Lord see fit, I'll take advantage of. But I imagine 5 to 7 years tops. And then it's on to the next stage. And then I probably have 2 more stages in my life after that next stage. So we'll see what the plot has in mind for me.
Okay. And then it sounds like you don't really have like a set in stone plan of what you want to go into or what you want to do when you retire. Would you want to, like you said, like go back and like go to school for law, or like you have something in mind of whenever that retirement does come, this is probably what I'm going to transition to?
I would probably go into teaching.
Teaching what?
Probably history or English.
And at what level?
Probably high school.
Okay.
I imagine high school. I think I'd probably return to my alma mater, the private school I went to. The headmaster at the school has been trying to get me to teach there for years. And I love history. I love English. I love the written word. I love the humanities. I love just talking to somebody about something like in arts or history, and then seeing something click when people see like, and that connects to everything else. I could apply that to my life. That is so cool. I love talking to people about history and stories in English, and I would love to be able to focus more on that after fighting. If that means like I'm a tutor, if I'm just a YouTuber that says things, if I'm just, you know, even like in some respects, you could be a pastor and you just tell stories and everything. Like, I just want to talk to people about values and stories and history. I just want to help people make sense of the world. And I just remember having my eyes opened by so many great teachers growing up. And I just want to be that. I just want to be a professional, helping people out, helping people learn things. And I think teaching is the way to do that. But we'll see. Maybe I'll be going to commentating. If you're teaching the viewers what they're seeing in fighting. I feel like a lot of commentators are just trying to, here's what's happening in the fight. But it's like, no, here's what this all means. I feel like especially in this sport, the way we communicate about it is so stupid and dumbed down. You watch football. That's why football is such an exhausting thing to debate with people, because there's always some criteria about why the worst team actually is not the worst team. You know, everything's just so overly studied. Everything's so recorded. But in fighting, it's like, this person's good because they got that dog in them. And we got people on the TV saying that. You know, it's like, oh, they're just built different. Like, that's not scientific. I can't learn from that. So maybe I'll go into commentating and just shake the whole thing up with just saying things that are backed by data, and not to talk ill of the distinguished people that are trailblazing that for my sport. But commentating is definitely something I feel like I could excel at.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of different avenues you could go through with teaching.
Yeah, just passion, knowledge, hard work will make you successful at anything. So I'll just make sure to be passionate, and I'll work hard at everything. And I know I'll be better than average. As long as I'm better than average, it will be cool.
There you go. All right. Last thing. What's like your best advice for up and coming fighters?
My best advice for up and coming fighters is figure out like who's there for you first, and who is actually going to be there for you, not just this next camp or this next few months. Like, find your people really early, because I feel like a lot of fighters, like, they're looking for the best coach or the best training partners, the best program to follow. And that's good. That's important. But like, the best fit for you may not be the most accomplished person, might not be the best gym. It might not be like, oh, that training partner's beating me up every time, like I should go with them every time. No, you got to find the people that mesh the best for your personality, for your temperament, and just double down on that. So I feel like a lot of people in the sport that are just trying to optimize things. Like, oh, I want this jiu-jitsu coach because they're the best grappler ever. I want this gym because it's the best gym ever. And I'm just going to win by osmosis because I'm surrounded by the best things. It's like, no, they might not be the best for you. So figuring out what type of fighter you are, what type of fighter you want to be, what are your goals, and then finding people that care about you that'll help you achieve those goals. Because a coach that is just average, but is 100% set on you being successful, is better than the best coach in the world who is just like, I got 40 other fighters that want to work with me because I'm the best coach in the world. I think you'll do better with being surrounded by people who you are passionate about and they are passionate about you.
I absolutely agree with that. That's great advice. All right. Well, thanks for doing this.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.